Hey everyone, my name is Chris Lambert. I co host the Watching the Throne podcast, all about Kanye West. And what do you figure? I make all these videos about Kanye West. So in this one, we're going to be talking about how Kanye spent his 42nd birthday on June 8th. And I don't think it's exactly what many of us expected, though Kanye did turn 42, so it makes sense that he might have more of a dad birthday than not. It seems that he was in Arizona for the entire weekend. And this was also the first weekend where we didn't get Sunday service footage, which there's speculation about why that is. But every Sunday since January, we've gotten Sunday service and we've seen some sort of video evidence of that Sunday service. So for Kanye's birthday weekend, I think we kind of expected this would be the second biggest one since, what was it? Coachella? That's what you call it. But no, that wasn't the case. In fact, it was actually the most private and secretive, which is kind of nice. I think at this point, when you reach this level of celebrity, to be able to just celebrate your birthday in peace and to do something for you. And I think that goes to some of the conversation about Sunday service. People have talked about it as, oh, Kanye's just using it to make money, or he's appropriating faith to make money. But here he had this opportunity to make it this big bash and do something with it, and instead he just kept it very private and very personal to him. If rumors are true about where the location was, and we'll get to that in a second. But I think one of the funniest details about this is he was at this sushi restaurant, right? And you can see some people. It's Kanye. You can see Kim. Nico's videotaping. Nico's always videotaping. I said in a tweet earlier that one of my favorite things when there's kind of group Kanye photos like this is just to play Where's Nico and see if you can find him with his camera somewhere. You can also catch the world famous Tony Williams down there in the green shirt. And it looks like a good time. But the detail that cracked me up, sushi restaurant, we know that Kim and Kanye go to Nobu a lot, which is the premier Malibu sushi restaurant in Los Angeles. But they said that Kanye was actually there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, which just cracks me up. I can imagine Kim being like, hey, Kanye, where do you want to go for dinner tonight? And he's like, sushi. And she's like, okay. And they go, and then Saturday, like, where do you want to go for dinner? There's this place and this place and this place. And Kanye's like, I really like that sushi. And then they go again, and then Sunday they go again. But I eat at Chipotle all the time, like daily, days in a row. I had a month where 23 out of the 30 days I ate at Chipotle. And the reason for that is just, it's easy. You don't have to think, you like it. It's like Steve Jobs just wearing his black turtlenecks every day, right? Black turtlenecks and jeans. He didn't do it because he was trying to make some huge fashion statement. He did it because he then didn't have to think about his wardrobe, and it freed up his mind to do other things. If you're sitting there worrying about where you're going to eat, you find a sushi place you like Chipotle. It just takes the stress out of the experience. So this ABC 15 article talked to Fang, the owner, a little bit, and then it mentions that as for what brought West to Flagstaff, that remains a mystery. There were no hints posted to his or his wife's social media pages, though Roden Crater, a decades-old art project by artist James Turrell that is currently being built inside a volcanic cinder cone, what a sentence that is a half-hour drive from Flagstaff, according to ASU News. It is not open to the public, and West had reported to have donated $10 million to the effort. He previously visited the site late last year. And they have the tweet. You can see it was December 13th. Went to visit the James Turrell crater 2 days ago. This is life-changing. We'll all live in Turrell spaces. So a quick funny note. Ariel Ocean here on Twitter actually said, my cousin works at a sushi place in Arizona, and he said that Kanye, Cudi, Kim, and their whole squad is there right now, which is awesome. Like, that's a scoop before anybody knew it. And you just had people being like, what? Huh? Like, I'll take did it happen for 400, please. And you just get this video from somebody. It's like, yeah, there's Kanye just sitting there doing Kanye things. So that, I appreciated that. When the news finally came out that, yes, Kanye wasn't just in Arizona, but yes, Kanye was going to this sushi place. what else do we got? So this is a bit about the crater. In case you've never seen the crater, you can see that it really is this very Mars-like place, right? Like that could be something that you see on the not lunar rover, the Mars rover, and it has these steps going down, and this is what you see. It's very strange. It feels like something out of the movie that Kanye loves, The Holy Mountain, which has a lot of bizarre and futuristic imagery. But there's something very, I'm sure, like just from the pictures, it's very moving. I'm sure being there in person and experiencing not just the visuals of it, but the intensity of the color and the atmosphere and the heat. I would love, I would love to go and experience that. So this is something that hasn't been open to the public yet. It's actually been in the works for a long time. And you can see back in January 2nd, early January, there was an article talking about Kanye falling in love with James Turrell. And you can see the two of them there in this room. And this is what Turrell does. You may realize his work from the Hotline Bling video. That was kind of one of the big coming out mainstream, like, woo, these visuals. So here's Kanye with Turrell. You finally got me here, bro. Yeah. And then it goes down. And it turns out that Kanye had donated $10 million to help Turrell finish this project. And this was the second time that he had visited the crater. So Kanye and his team had been to Flagstaff twice already in the last, 6 or 7 months. God, though far from completed, it's already taken on a mythical status since construction began on an extinct volcano in Turrell's ranch in northern Arizona in 1974. 1974, that's such a long time. So Kanye contributing to that and trying to make it finished, I guess, is one of his current projects. You can see a phone call, James Turrell, Norman Foster. I should have looked up who Foster was. And Kanye tweeting about being at the crater. Turrell goat. So there's that. And if you watch the Letterman interview, which I'm sure you did, or if you haven't, go watch it right now. But Kanye talked about the exhibit. Kanye specifically credits James Turrell's Roden Crater, a naked eye observatory in Flagstaff, Arizona, to which Kanye recently donated $10 million. His lights turn you into a Zen state. So Kanye, in this part of the interview, was talking about how light can affect your energy and light can affect your mood, and why in Sunday service, that's such a big part of the experience is either being in nature, because nature kind of soothes the soul, or you're in this space that's all one color, that's sort of outside the norm, because the colors really take you to a different kind of emotional place. I think that's also why Kanye's home, despite the jokes and memes that have come about because of it, is just all white and so minimalist, is because it has that then appearance of being something that's lit in a way that's very calming. It has that energy about it rather than this chaos or gaudiness. I mean, Kanye's the guy that made My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy and Yeezus that really pull apart this idea of excess and maximalism, right? It makes sense that in his life, he would be looking more for the minimal because it's calmer rather than overwhelming. So the only thing I can parallel with James Turrell, 3 L's, is to contribute something musically and to learn more about sonics that are healing. So Kanye's taking what Turrell's doing with light and trying to figure out how to apply that to music through sound. And that does it. That does it for this. If we ever do get video of the Sunday service, which there were rumors that it took place in the Roden Crater, which sounds fucking awesome. I wonder what the acoustics would be like in there. I would just wonder what the experience would be like. It seems like something that would be a personal treat for Kanye and maybe something that they wouldn't film. So I imagine maybe that's what happened and maybe why we haven't seen any footage of it. But if that ever does hit the internet, we'll be talking about it. And then, with our podcast, we have a bunch of episodes. So if you want to hear us talk about and analyze and explain any Kanye discography song, we've covered it. So you can find it. We also have this merch available that's ice cream cones inspired by Kanye album covers. So St. Pablo, Life of Pablo, Graduation, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. And then we also wrote an entire book on Yeezus. It's a coffee table book, but also an academic breakdown presented in a very conversational way for you to learn all about the album musically, lyrically, and conceptually, to where you come out of it being like, that's a damn good album. And it is. If you have any requests for videos, I know it's been a couple weeks since I was consistent with video making, but just transitioning with some things, taking a little bit of a mental break, but going to be back on the typical grind. So if you have any requests for anything that I haven't talked about in the last bit of time, go ahead and send them and I'll try and get to them. But otherwise, until then, stay wavy, keep it loopy, and we'll be back soon. Cheers.